first post of the year, first video post. What I wanted to go over, I want to do my tiers like I did last year. Now remember, this is all about the draft, not about where I think the team is going to end up. Let's see at the end of the season. I know a lot of guys are big on that. I'm talking about what happened in the draft. This is based off of the draft, okay? So, and this is based off of how I feel. Last year, like I said, I think you got to have a good core number of bats, which in my opinion is at least 4 good, solid 30-plus home run type of guys, 100 RBI guys, maybe 275 plus batting average. 4 of them and at least 6 or 7 solid pitchers. And whoever gets closest to that is what I feel is all top tier. So, of course, myself, I think number one, in tier number one, I would include myself. I like my team. I think I got 4 solid guys, 4 solid bats if Morneau comes back, or 30-plus home run guys, 100 RBI guys, or Huff possibly also could be a 25 to 30 home run guy. And I got 2 guys who have some speed, and Ellsbury and Garner, who can get on base, give me some steals and about 100 runs, or possibly close to it. And I think I have the most balanced pitching staff from top to bottom. I think I got about a good 9 pitchers that are undroppable. I don't know if anyone else can say that. So that's just me. I think HD follows. A lot of people think he had the best draft. That remains to be seen. I think he has great balance on his team and from the bats and also from the pitching side. I think he can add 1 or 2 pitchers, but I think he's definitely tier number 1. A surprise would be Powerhouse. Well, I don't know if it's that much a surprise. He listens to me so much that I got to give him credit for being at least smart from that side. Powerhouse definitely has some balance on his team. Some teams are questioning his bats, but if Utley and A-Rod stay healthy, I know it's a real big if with Utley because he might not be back until August, but I think if A-Rod plays 150 plus games for him, he's going to be all right. I like that, and he has a good 6 or 7 solid pitches, and that's huge to me. I think a big mistake that a lot of people made in this draft was that they just didn't go deep enough with their pitching staffs. They got a good 3 or 4, but 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 just aren't good enough. I don't think they really put enough thought into who those pitchers were going to be. It's easy to have a draft list when you only have about 20 or 25 pitchers or 30 pitchers, but you have to realize there are 12 teams in this league. So once those guys are gone, you got to know what that is. For an example, not to make me the standard, but my draft list for my pitchers had 79 pitchers on there, and I was still missing some that I did full research on. So you got to remember to do that, in my opinion. The surprise of tier 1, in my opinion, would be MLB Fanatics, who's FL Krugers now. I don't know where the hell you got that one from, but we're going to leave that alone for now. But he was surprised at tier 1. I think he has a good balanced offense. He has a good 4 or 5 bats that I like, and he has about 4 pitchers. But I felt some of the other pitchers you could kind of work around, so I think he could kind of make it, if it works out. It can't work out for him though, but I definitely think he deserved to be in tier 1. I think you did a good job, Anthony. Tier 2. I think at the top of the tier 2 has to be the Sluggers. I really like that team. He almost made tier 1. I didn't think he had that good of a draft, but after I looked at it, he has some balance. He has some guys who have some pop and some guys who can do some stuff. And he has about a good 5 pitchers again. I think that's real huge. So I like the Sluggers. Real close behind him in tier 2, the Amazings. I like the Amazings also. I like their team. I think they have some balance over there. Definitely could make the playoffs based off of what I've seen for this year. Big Red is another person who I think is tier 2. I think he's a step below, the Sluggers and the Amazings. But, I think he's right there. He needs some help on the pitching side. That's why he made it at the bottom of tier 2. But at least he's not the worst. A real big surprise for me at the bottom of tier number 2. Well, first off, let me say the Igniters would be the next person in tier number 2 for me. Which, I know, Chris, you think your team is great and everything. I spoke to some other people, they told me you're real confident about that. I don't think a lot of people share the same sentiment, Chris. But at the end of the day, I think because you're in tier number 2, you and your brother Kirk, who I'm going to get to in a minute, I gave you guys the respect of putting you in tier 2 because of who you are, and I figure you could turn it around. Now, I know I said at the beginning of this, it's all about draft. I didn't like your drafts per se, because especially Chris, I don't think you did enough on the pitching side. I think Trevor Cahill and I think it was Gio Gonzalez as your second and third best pitchers. I'm not too sure about how that's going to work out. I don't know if you're pitching as deep as you think it probably is, and your bats just aren't good enough. With Tulo and Hamilton leading the way, none of them have completed the season the past three seasons, so I'm not too big on those guys. But so Chris would be the next one at the bottom of tier 2, and then the biggest disappointment to me would be the Incredibles. I really don't know what you would think of Kirk. Not enough power. You have some speed guys getting base, guys who can do some stuff, but our league is dominated by some form of power. You need at least one or two. You got Zimmerman, but I mean, I think you need a little more pop there. I wasn't too happy with that. I think you got a good 4 pitchers, but the rest is like real suspect. Just totally disappointed, man. I would think you and the Krugers, FL Krugers, would be flip-flop between tier 1 and tier 2. You think otherwise? We'll see. Time will tell. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm talking based off of draft. When you look at that face value, what people get from that, and I wasn't big on it. Tier 3, I would say number 1 would be Queens Black Mint. I don't know. You made a huge mistake this year in taking pitching too seriously. I think last year you saw the fact that people love pitchers so much. At the end of the day, our league is dominated by bats and power. So you still got to secure your monster bats early. I don't think you did that enough. I think you have a lot of okay guys in every position, but it's not really about that. And then if you're going to go full force pitching like that, you got the best top 3, definitely, with Holiday, King Felix, and I think it was Matt Latos. Definitely you got the best top 3, but I think after that, it really falls off. And your next 3 are pretty decent, but then after that, it's not anything too special. So for that, he makes tier 3. Next person in tier 3 would be the Chargers. I don't really have too much to say about that one. I mean, I think some people think that your team is pretty good. I think you have 3 really good bats that I like, and then other than that, I don't know what's going on there. And the pitching staff, I mean, you choose AJ Bonez, your 3rd pitcher again. I don't know, what are you thinking? But and Mark Reynolds again, man, come on, it's just not cool. But time will tell. To each his own. But I think definitely draft-wise, you deserve to be in tier 3. And the person I think who had the worst draft, and I shared this with him already, would definitely be Leon. That's 300. I don't know what was going on with 8 backup bats. He gave me some cockamamie excuse just now about how that was auto draft picks, and that makes it even worse. That means you definitely had the worst draft, because why would you go on auto pick? How does that happen during the draft? That shouldn't be happening. 8 backup bats is definitely not supposed to happen. To wrap it up, I just want to say, I don't know if guys thought I was being cocky or anything like that, but I really didn't think I was going to have a decent draft, as good of a draft as I did. I really feel comfortable in my team. I don't know if some other people feel otherwise, but a few GMs have told me they like my team also. I think I definitely have a top 3 team. But look at the draft tips that I put on the league page. I hope if this ends up working well for me this year, that guys will realize next year, take these types of things seriously. I don't think there was any real structure to wanting to know what the type of team guys wanted. I don't think people did enough detailed research. Like I said, beyond the first 4 or 5 pitchers on the team, it was just like, well, whatever, I'm just going to pick anyone. People were picking backup bats before they were picking, and there were still solid pitchers out there. That shouldn't be the way. Don't care about these backup bats. They play for you once or twice per season. Don't care about filling up a position when the best available shortstop at the time is someone like a Ryan Terrell just to do it. Don't jump on a backup shortstop just to do it. Don't jump on a backup catcher or second baseman just because, oh, well, you don't like the pitchers that are out there right now. There are good enough pitchers out there. Do more research. You got to do that stuff. You got to know how you want your team to be built. And you also have to know, number 1, first and foremost, your deep draft list. Gotta do it, okay? And the position myth. Stop jumping at positions. Chris made a comment during the draft that why are guys waiting so long to take position players? Because you don't have to take them. If you have 4 or 5 solid bats, and you should go pitch the next 15 rounds if you want to. That's it. That's a wrap. That's my draft recap.